Record breaker. If you're the tallest, the smallest, if you beat them all. If you're the fattest, the thinnest, if you always win. If you're the fastest,
Now, obviously, you recognise that piece of music.
you're a record breaker.
And BBC Wiltshire Sound proud to announce
Record me.
its very own record breaker, the one-man band that is GERRY HUGHES. Steady now, yes, regular listeners to BBC Wiltshire Sound will no doubt be avid followers of the daily soap opera Acrebury.
I must say I'm very impressed, Mr. Cottrell. You've got quite a few people involved, haven't you? In such a short time. I don't let the grass grow under my feet, you know, Brenda, my dear.
Of course, you'll recognise that episode from the one that went out, it was probably about 2 hours ago here on BBC Wiltshire Sound. But did you know its sole writer, producer, performer has just been entered into the Guinness World Records, and it's gracing my programme tonight, I'm pleased to say. GERRY HUGHES, thank you for that. I've got to tell you, how have you made it into this record book then?
Well, it's quite freaky, actually. I think I'm going to pinch myself before I wake up and realise it's all a dream. But, basically what it was, earlier this year, Pat Gray from Bradenstoke, who's one of our avid listeners, Pat the Poet, you'll know her as, came into the station with her husband, met me for the first time, and we were chatting away about Acrebury, and she was saying about what a fan she was of it, how much she enjoyed it, and so on. And she said, gosh, all those characters that you do, she said, it must be a world record, surely. And I said, oh, well, perhaps I should be in the Guinness Book of Records then. Lo and behold, she wrote to them. They contacted her, said could they send some information about me, which I supplied Pat with. And the next thing we know, I get a frantic phone call over the weekend, a message left on my mobile phone to say, please contact me. This was Pat the Poet, to say, it's happened. And here, I picked it up today, is Guinness World Record Certificate. And if you want to read it, so you can.
That is marvellous. This is an actual certificate, the Guinness World Record Certificate. And it says this: the world's longest-running one-man radio soap opera is Acrebury, created, written, produced and performed by GERRY HUGHES. It was aired as a weekly serial on Swindon Hospital Radio from 1974 to 85, and then revised in 1994 by BBC Wiltshire Sound as 5 daily 10-minute episodes. And it's signed by somebody with a signature. I've no idea what that is.
Don't know what it
who
is
apparently
either.
is keeper of the records at the Guinness World Records. Jerry, this is a marvellous thing to have. I've got to say, I did go around and talk to various groups about BBC Wiltshire Sound, and the one thing they can never ever believe, one is that I'm so short, but the other thing is that it's just you doing it. Is just
it
you.
is me,
I mean, do you
yes.
find it difficult doing all the different voices?
Not really, no. At one time I would have done, because it's not one of those situations where I have the script in front of me and I'm standing in front of the microphone, then I'm doing one voice and then straight away change to the other one. There's a process. It's almost like a multi-track, if you like, whereby I will start the scene off by performing the first character, leaving a silent gap where the second character's lines come in to get the correct timing. And then once that's done, that recording is played back with me at the microphone, listening to it in headphones and answering. So it sounds as though there's more than one character. And when it comes to female voices, that's a little bit more complicated, because that has to be done on a special machine, which is then, the voice is then pitched up. And the female voices have to be done first of all. So then the male characters, which are in normal time, coming in between. So these days, no, it's actually recorded very, very quickly, and it's all done digitally now with mini disc and DAT machines for those that are a little bit
blind
technical.
me with science. See, so all those people I've been telling it's actually a medical operation to get those female voices. I'm completely wrong, aren't I?
I feel sometimes that I have had one done for that, but there you go.
Hey, tell me, how many characters have you actually performed over the years?
Well, it's almost 6 years since it was revived on BBC Wiltshire Sound, and in that time, a few months ago, I sat down and listed all the characters that had individual voices from the beginning. And I was actually staggered when I added up 86.
That's an awful lot of characters, isn't it? And obviously it's an awful lot of storylines.
Yes.
Are you still going to be able to keep this going?
Well, there you go. That's a good question, isn't it? Something else seems to come round the corner. At the moment, the storyline is developing a domestic violence one. There's also the Millennium, of course. There's going to be a Millennium play. What else is there going on? All kinds of things have been featured. Things like homosexuality, changing the local village tea shop into an Italian bistro, which has recently happened. So there are all kinds of diversions and things. And I sit at the computer for a little while, think, what comes next? And there's always something around the corner. So,
which is good news. And just to remind us, when can we hear it here on BBC Wiltshire Sound?
well, of course, it's every weekday afternoon at 3:30 with Graham Seaman. That episode is repeated the same evening at 9:45 with Sarah Gorrell, regionally. And then there's an omnibus edition every Sunday afternoon after my other programme, Down Wiltshire Way, must give that a mention, at 1:30 through to just about 2:05.
Well, Gerry Hughes, absolutely terrific stuff. I will now hand back this priceless
Thank you very much.
Guinness
framed.
World Records certificate.
Put on the wall.
Gerry Hughes there from Acrebury, our very own record breaker.
Record breaker.